GM. So, do I want to use this one? Should yeah, I think I still will use this one. So, I want to explain closing my trade. I think, well, I think it's quite obvious, but I'll explain what the exact trade is and what I mean. So if you remember, I took the trade Bitcoin long 59.4 on Friday as the news broke about the weak jobs data, which I had already pre-planned would be bullish. We consolidated nicely. That news was bullish. Away up we went. I then mentioned at that breakout, I was like, this seems like a real breakout, not a false breakout, based on the strength of the move, the volume, and the fact that sentiment and positioning was so offside that people were just way too short down here and that this move wouldn't retrace. And up it went. It went further and further and further. Originally, when I entered, I wouldn't have expected 64, so I'm super happy to close it at 64. But that's not the reason. The reason why I close it is because I have several paths in mind for if I want to stay long, right? The first path, very obviously, would not have included a false breakout there and real weakness above that level and a real sign of exhaustion. Now, you've seen on daily levels as well that I believe this is a perps-led move, just a short squeeze. I don't believe it's any underlying strength. That strength has to come from spot, but the spot strength isn't there yet, in my opinion. You had some FOMO buying of ETFs on Friday afternoon as people, got back in, but I don't see that as being a real sign of strength, especially because they panicked and sold here and then they bought back here. You have a big selling day here and a big buying day here. That doesn't seem like the smartest money, right? They're literally selling the lows and buying back on the reclaim. So regardless of that, outside of that bit of spot demand, I don't see much, and Bitcoin is just showing signs of weakness. So we broke the 1 hour trend over here. All of these weak candle closes, losing the bands, the false breakout up here. The 1 hour trend for me is over. So what does that mean? Well, I'm in a trend trade, and so the trend is over. And if I'm in a trend trade and the trend is over and it's moved to consolidation, then I want to exit around the middle of that consolidation, which is about 64, right, as you can see here. So I set my order overnight for 64 because I don't expect it to go like that. I do expect it to chop around for a while. But again, if I'm right about that and we go forward to Thursday and we're still chopping like that, then I should not be in this long. The long's invalidated. Remember, it's not a long off a daily chart. It was a long off a 1 hour chart and a 15-minute chart that I took from there. The 1 hour trend's over, so my trade is over. If I re-enter, it'll be based on a new setup forming, which would be a significant consolidation. My price isn't able to break lower. It holds. We squeeze, and it breaks out. Right? That'll be something like the 50 EMA and a box. So right now, price has spent all this time above the 50 EMA. That's good. It spent a bit of time below. It's back above currently. If it's unable to convincingly fall below the 50 EMA and hold back up here, and it starts to move to the highs, I'll be back in for a long continuation. But I also don't think that's going to happen necessarily. I also believe and know that it can absolutely go lower. And I'm open to both opportunities because this 64k level, right, if Bitcoin falls below there, it's lights out. If we lose that level today, it's lights out. That's going to unwind. It's going to unwind into here. We catch some longs there probably, but then it probably just bounce up like that. And then we're back down to the lows. And we're back. It's a hunt. Everyone who got long there, thinking that it was, or not got long there, but everyone who got long here and here and here and here, thinking that, oh, we're back, bull market, it's all strength. It's not strength. I really don't see any strength. I really don't see any. But again, that's my opinion based on everything I see. I still trade based on my systems. And the system said long, so I went long. The system now says close long, so I close long. It's really as simple as that. But I want to be very clear, I do not see strength here. Strength could come, but I don't see it. So if you're looking at previous examples and look at just the 1 hour bands, because the first early exit signal for me was 1 hour bands breaking, right? It was green all the way, the bands are now red. If you're going to use something like the bands, which are so simple and so reliable, they don't work every single time, but they allow you to very easily frame a trade. I got long, not because the bands were green, but I got long because of other factors. And as it broke out on a 1 hour close, I said, okay, cool, we're in a 1 hour trend, we just broke out, 1 hour bands will be my guide. So they broke, then we went to the lows, some weakness at the lows, I closed. If you look at previous examples, there's many examples of this. But when your 1 hour trend breaks, you tend to get, even in bullish markets, right? So there was our 1 hour trend and it broke technically over here. And after that, you got a huge amount of time where it did not trend. And as a trader, that's opportunity cost. You're paying funding fees if it's positive funding. You're sitting there analyzing, overanalyzing, fucking watching this trade, and it's not trending. Now, it technically went a little bit higher, but then it came all the way back and up and all the way back. And it was 9 days. So from that initial breakout trade, which is what I played, it was a breakout trade, the momentum ended here. You might have exited there, maybe you exited here or here, whatever. But 9 days then for it to actually show again some strength. And once it started breaking out there, you can just get back in. Another 1 hour breakout trade, boom. Then you catch this leg up to here until it goes red or until it goes red. So very simple, right? The worst thing you can do is just, so many people are just biased. So many people are just biased, trying to defend their bias, saying everything looks good, saying every reaction is good, saying everything that's bullish is good. It's not. This is not a bullish market. This is not a bullish move. I've seen fucking a million bullish moves. This is not one of them. This is a standard short squeeze. And the short squeeze is over by, as you can see by the liquidation data, right? The short squeeze is absolutely over. So if I zoom it in here, and we just look at the liquidations here, biggest liquidations on the first push, some good liquidations on the second push, nice liquidation on the third push. That last weak false breakout, barely any, right? And long liquidations are picking up. That tells you which side of the market's off is on the wrong side. Now it doesn't mean we go a huge amount lower either, because the long liquidations seem to have slowed down for now, picked up a little bit there, but we're now just in a balanced market, right? It clearly ran out of shorts to squeeze. Squeezed them, could not squeeze any as it went higher. It's ran out of shorts to squeeze, right? We pushed down, lots of longs, less longs, not so many, ran out of longs to squeeze there. A little bit more here, but we haven't broken. So price is not able to break convincingly lower, it's not able to break convincingly higher. That is a sign of a market that's just going to chop. But any extreme weakness, which to me is losing the 50, if we lose the 50 EMA here, that means that's a full loss of the 50, right, with hours and hours and hours below it. And I'll take off the bands here. We lost the 50, right? We reclaimed it, and if it loses it again quickly and is down here, the next breakout from there, the next 1 hour candle close below that level, that's bearish continuation for me. And that means high, low. This was a lower high bounce, and I'd be looking at lower low. At least down into this area here, where again, like I said, you might get a squeeze, or you might just get a sideways and then down. I don't expect that. It would be quite fast, and I think Bitcoin doesn't have it has a tendency to not break down very quickly. But if you look at the move up, again, I'm a big fan of these equal distance. Right? How long did it take us to get up here? 2 days. How long did it take us to back down? 2 days. Just look how many times you look at the chart and you can visualize it like this. If it were to do that, that would not be weird. And do you know why this happens? Why there seems to be like almost some symmetry to it? A lot of times it's because, especially on these moves that are very perp driven, so it's just a short squeeze or it's just a long liquidation. Now look at here. This was a long liquidation, panic sell-off. Once the panic ended, it reacted back up. This is why you get like, this is what they call a V, right? This is why it looks like a V, because it's practically symmetrical. But that itself, any one of you will know, we almost never V reverse to create a bottom. Almost never. And so even if this is bullish, there's so much that needs to be retested back down there. I don't know. I have very, very high confidence that we revisit those lows. Very high confidence. What I'm not confident on is the time frame, which is why I'm not short yet, right? Because it could do this, sweep it there, it can chop down, it can try to break down, it fails to break down, and then it goes down. Like, that can easily happen. And then it's fucking 20th of May before it goes down. You're not, well, you might, but you're rarely going to get any easy short trades, especially, right? So the only thing that can invalidate this V reverse is a long consolidation. Lengthy. Consolidates for a long time, breaks out. That's valid. Then we're not testing these levels. And so if that's going to happen, what do you have to do? Well, you have to wait for like 2 weeks. So anyway, that's why I'm not long anymore. It's also why I'm not short. I'm basically neutral at this point. No opinion. A lot more needs to happen for me to have an opinion. And we'll see what happens from here. GM.